Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah and in today's video we are going to be crocheting tiny little possums. These guys work up in 20 minutes or less depending on your personal crochet speed, yarn types, how many times you crocheted the pattern, etc. But for the most part they work up super quickly. This pattern is also a written pattern on my Instagram. It is free. If you would like the unwatermarked version, you can check out my coffee shop where I'm selling the pattern for a low price. But I do have a very quick disclaimer before we get into this tutorial, and that is I do crochet pretty quickly. This tutorial is intended for more intermediate crocheters, people who have an understanding of the abbreviations and basic crochet stitches. That said, I will still be walking you through every single step and I will not be cutting sections out, so this is a step-by-step tutorial all the way through. Make sure to pause, replay, and slow down the video as needed, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will try and answer them as quick as I can. With all of that said, let's go ahead and get into the material list. For materials, you're going to need 4 different yarn colors. Today I will be using a mix of Naughty Pony and Premier Plush. These are both a size 6 yarn, so they work well together. You will need dark gray, white, pink, and black for today's pattern. You can use any yarn type that you would like as long as you use the correct hook size for it. So in today's video I'll be using a 5mm. For these tiny little cuties right here, I used a combination of Baby Bear, Cozy Cub. There's a lot of labels for that one yarn, but that is a size 5 yarn and I used a 4.5mm hook for this, so feel free to use any yarn type you'd like. You also need a sewing needle or 2. I have a plastic one and a metal one. You also need a pair of scissors and some stuffing. You can also use some safety eyes if you'd like, but I will just be embroidering eyes today because the pattern is quite small. It can be a little bit difficult to actually attach safety eyes on this, so I'll just be embroidering them. That's it for materials list, so let's go ahead and get into the actual crocheting part of this tutorial. To begin, we're going to start by making our tail. To do this, we're going to take our pink yarn and create a slip knot onto our hook. And then we are going to chain 6. Skip that first chain and slip stitch into the next 5 chains. I like to do this into the back hump of the chain so the tail looks super clean, but you can go ahead and crochet into any part of the chain. Depending on your yarn type, it may be very difficult to slip stitch into the back hump, so do what works best for you. And when you finish the tail, give it a nice stretch, and this will even out all the stitches and make it sit nice and flat. Go ahead and cut your end, leaving a short tail. We just need it long enough to tie a couple of knots. And there's the tail finished. For the next step, we are going to start our body, and we're going to start with our dark gray yarn. To make my magic ring, I'm going to be using some size 4 yarn, as I find this makes the magic ring look cleaner and it's a whole lot easier to close. For this step, you can use any magic ring, any chain 2 method, whatever method works best for you. So in this magic ring, we are going to single crochet 6 times. Just like so, and when you finish, go ahead and close up that magic ring. And for round 2, we're going to increase in each stitch, so 2 single crochets in each stitch around. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and secure my magic ring. I do this by pulling everything nice and tight if you haven't done it already. Tie the 2 size 4 ends together, and then I tie those 2 ends to the size 6 yarn. This just makes the magic ring nice and secure, and hopefully it won't come undone over time, at least as easily. For the next round, we're going to begin with our first set of legs. So we're going to create some bobbles. To start, we're going to single crochet 4 times. And now in this next stitch, we are going to bobble. I do this by taking my black yarn, yarning over onto my hook, inserting my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Go ahead and repeat that 3 more times. You could also do it 4 times, however many times you want. I just find with the project this small, the bobble can be pretty small as well. And once you have as many incomplete double crochets as you want, go ahead and take your gray yarn, yarn over and pull it through all of those loops. I do it this way because it results in a very, very clean bobble stitch. Go ahead and single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And we're going to bobble again in the exact same way as the first one. I'm just going to take my black yarn and bring it over here, yarn over, create your incomplete double crochets, yarn over with your dark gray yarn, and then we're going to single crochet in the remaining stitches. I'm going to go ahead and secure the black ends real quick that we use to make our feet. To do this, I'm going to cut the working end and just tie the 2 ends together to secure them. And for the next 2 rounds, we are going to single crochet in each stitch. Once you have finished single crocheting around, we're going to join our tail. We're going to do this by attaching the tail to the single crochet right after our final increase of round 2. So this guy right here. Depending on your yarn type, it might be hard to see. If you can't really see the stitches, just put it in the center of the 2 feet as best as possible. To attach the tail, I take my hook and I stick it through from the inside to the outside, right on one side of the stitch. Take the tail and pull one of the ends through this side of the stitch. And then you're going to repeat this same thing on the other side of the stitch with the other end from the tail. Just like so. And now we're going to tie these 2 ends together super, super tight. I like to pull them really hard until the knot from the end of each side of the tail is pulled inside the body. Hopefully that makes sense, but you just want to have both these little bumps on the inside. And then we're going to just tie them together super tight. I like to give this 3 or 4 knots just to be on the extra secure side. And we're going to turn it right side out. And there you have the tail attached without any sewing. I'm gonna go ahead and tuck all these ends into the body and get them out of our way. And during the next round, we are going to crochet the other set of legs. To do this, we are going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And we're going to go ahead and bobble in the same way we did with the first set of legs. So yarn over with your black yarn, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, and repeat that 3 times total. And with the gray yarn, we are going to finish the bobble. Go ahead and single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And we're going to repeat that bobble one last time to make our last leg. Yarn over with black, create 3 incomplete double crochets, and finish with the gray yarn. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. There will be 1 stitch remaining during this round, and that is on purpose. Now we're going to cut the black end again and secure those ends just like we did with the first set of bobbles. Tuck those ends right into the body, and there we have our body almost finished. This next round is an incomplete round, which is also on purpose. We're going to be joining the ears, or we're going to be creating the ears. To do this, we're going to single crochet in the next stitch, but we're going to finish the single crochet with black yarn. So go ahead and start your single crochet, yarn over for that last pull through with the black yarn instead. And then we're going to chain 3. We're going to half double crochet, so yarn over, and half double crochet into that very last chain, so the 3rd chain from hook. Yarn over, pull through, and we're not going to finish the half double crochet with the black. We're going to finish the half double crochet with the gray yarn. Just like so. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches, but with that 3rd single crochet, we're going to do the same thing and finish the single crochet with the black yarn. Go ahead and just bring that yarn right over, pull it through to finish that single crochet. Now we're going to make our 2nd ear. So go ahead and chain 3, yarn over, we're going to half double crochet into that 3rd chain from hook, yarn over, pull through, and finish the half double crochet with the gray yarn. Single crochet in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 1 and fasten off. This just makes the color change easier in my opinion, but you can always just color change as normal. Now we're going to cut our black yarn as well and secure the ears with a couple of knots. And there we have the body of the possum finished. So now we can work on the head portion. To do this, we're going to join our yarn with a single crochet to the slip stitch we made with the gray yarn just now. The way I like to do this is insert my hook into the previous stitch, take the white yarn and yarn over and pull it through. And then we're going to single crochet on top of the slip stitch. I find that this makes the color change a lot cleaner, but when we come back around, we still need to single crochet into that stitch where we pulled up the loop. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to decrease twice. So I like to invisible decrease, collect the front loops, yarn over, pull through those loops, yarn over, and finish single crochet. And then we're going to single crochet in the remaining stitches around. Make sure to go around the ears and only crochet into the gray single crochets and ignore anything in black. And then, like I said just earlier, go ahead and single crochet into that stitch where we pulled up the loop. You should have a total of 10 stitches. Here's what we're looking like so far. For the next round, we're going to single crochet 5 times. And now real quick, I'm going to secure my color change ends before we decrease anymore, just because it'll be easier to do it now before the hole gets too small. Just secure them with a couple of knots and tuck them right in. Next, we're going to invisible decrease, single crochet in the next stitch, and invisible decrease. And there's the end of that round. So now we can begin stuffing. We want to stuff our plushie pretty firmly. We do have to weave in a couple of ends when we do the nose and the eyes, but for the most part, that shouldn't take up too much space inside the plushie. For the next round, we're going to single crochet, then we're going to invisible decrease, single crochet 2 times, invisible decrease, and then finally single crochet into that last stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and stuff the head a little bit more as well. And for the final round, we're going to single crochet 4 times and then we will decrease. Go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a short end. We just need to close up this bottom hole, so it doesn't need to be too long. And go ahead and give it any more stuffing it may need to finish stuffing the nose portion. But here's what the plushie looks like so far. Now, I guess you could do the final round in pink on this guy so that you don't have to embroider the nose, but I personally prefer the way the embroidered nose looks, so that is what I'll be showing you how to do today. We're going to first close out this hole using our white end. We're just going to go ahead and collect all of the front loops of all of these stitches. Pull nice and tight, and then I'm going to secure it by picking up one of these loops on the inside and creating a little arch or a loop, and then sticking my end through that, pulling tight, and then weaving it in. Doesn't need to be perfect because we will be embroidering the nose over it and it'll secure everything as well. I'm going to switch my needle. And I'm just going to poke this end in because I don't like saving scraps because they just get wasted. And here is the possum closed off, so now we just have to do our embroidery. I will note that if you need to adjust the ear placement, I should have said this when we were actually at the ears, but I personally find that having 3 single crochets on this side and 2 on this side make it look a lot more even, so hopefully that is the same with other people's tension and crochet. But let's go ahead and embroider the nose first. I do this by taking my pink yarn and threading it through a needle. I put my needle through a random stitch underneath close to the nose, and I come out right in the center of those stitches we closed off, so the center of that final round. Pull up a fairly nice length of yarn, and we're going to create loops through this section here, so just this very top round. And we're just going to create loops on one side of the stitch and then the other side as well, that way it stays even. You can make this nose as big or as small as you want. So now I'm going to go over to this side as well and embroider and just keep adding loops until it looks nice and full. And once you're satisfied, go ahead and bring this pink end back to the other end. That way we can tie the 2 ends together and weave them in. Cut the yarn that's still connected to the ball super short. Tie these 2 ends together. I like to leave the end that's connected to the ball connected until I'm finished embroidering in case I didn't bring enough yarn up to begin with. I can cut this end longer and use that to finish the nose. Once you secure these with a couple of knots, go ahead and weave them in. And there is the nose. Hopefully it's showing up well on camera. Now for the final step, we are going to embroider the eyes. I do this in a specific way so that the eyes remain even. Normally I would just embroider the eyes around one of these stitches here, so around one of the posts of a single crochet, but I find that if I do that on both sides, it ends up being uneven. So let me show you how I embroider the eyes. Go ahead and thread your needle with your black yarn, bringing it from the bottom, any stitch on the bottom, up to the top. And I'm going to embroider the eye onto this side normally. So pull up a nice length of yarn, go around one of the stitches like so, and pull nice and tight. I like to do 2 or 3 loops. It depends on how big I like the eyes. I usually like them on the smaller side, so I usually go with 3 tight loops. Then once you have your eye finished on this side, we're going to go over to the other side right here. So about where we had the other eye, but in between one of those stitches there. I'm going to pull these loops nice and tight. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the loop of one of the single crochets on the bottom here. So just the very outside loop. And then I'm also going to grab the outside loop of the single crochet above it as well. And I'm going to go ahead and embroider in that same way, except through these 2 stitches instead of an actual single crochet. Hopefully I'm making some sort of sense. Once you get as many loops as you need, go ahead and bring it back to the other end. And here you can see the eyes look a lot more even than they would if I crocheted them lower or higher. So hopefully I made some sort of sense and that looks good for you guys as well. Once you finish, go ahead and cut your working end. Tie these 2 ends together and weave them in. If you have any stuffing poking out, go ahead and pull it off or cut it and clean up the plushie a little bit. It makes it look a little bit more professional. If you have any lumps or anything you need to straighten out, go ahead and use a needle to kind of push the stuffing around or the ends around so that your plushie is a little bit more round. And here is our possum finished. I hope this tutorial was helpful and I hope you all enjoyed it. If you crocheted your very own possum, let me know down in the comments below. I just have to know what yarn types you used. If you want to share any of that, I would love to hear it. If you share your finished creations on YouTube or Instagram, feel free to tag me, Loops and Knots Crochet. Same here on YouTube as Instagram. I can't guarantee that I will see them all as Instagram tends to hide the tags I mentioned from me, but I will try my best to see them. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the written pattern if you haven't already. I hope you like that one as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support, and I will see you in my next video, which will of course be a market vlog, and I will hopefully see you then. Bye!